Is it visible, sir? Is it visible, sir?
Okay, yes, you can. It's good.
Okay, sir. So first of all, I'll thank you very much, sir, for and I would like to thank PMFIC for giving me this opportunity to present. So my topic is xylem polysaccharide-based hydrogel. So I'm doing PhD from NIT Jalandhar and under the supervision of Dr. B.S. Kat and my co-guide Dr. Rakesh Kumar. So the content of my presentation includes. So content of my presentation includes introduction, classification, methods of preparation, characterization of hydrogels, properties, applications of hydrogel, advantage and disadvantage, and future perspective. So hydrogel, what are the hydrogels? So these are basically the 3D network of hydrophilic cross-linked polymers. So they are having the hydrophilic functional groups like carboxylic acid group, COH, OH, CONH, CONH2, and sulfonic acid group. And they are having high water carrying capacity due to these hydrophilic functional groups. And we have this unswollen hydrogel, so it absorbs the water due to the presence of these hydrophilic functional groups and goes into the swollen state. So they also resistant to dissolution due to the presence of this cross-linked network, and they are having the high degree of flexibility, very similar to the natural tissues, and also they are responsive to various stimuli like solvent, pH, magnetic field, temperatures. So, first of all, we'll talk about the historical background. So, hydrogel was first prepared by Limp and Richard Lake. The hydrogel first prepared was FEMA, that is poly-2-hydroxyethyl methacrylate, and they used this in contact lenses. So, hydrogel from biopolymers, they are having the highest bioabsorption capacity and high biodegradability without the formation of any toxic species. Also, the highest durability and stability in the environment and in storage. They are colorless, odorless, and also they are cost effective. So next is the classification. So classification, where hydrogels are basically classified on the based on origin, durability, charge, configuration, composition. So on the basis of origin, they are natural, synthetic, semi-synthetic, and on the basis of durability, biodegradable, non-biodegradable, charge, neutral, cationic, anionic, amphoteric. And on the basis of configuration, they are amorphous crystalline. On the basis of composition, they are homopolymer, copolymer, and multiple polymers. So first of all, I would discuss the classification based on the composition. So composition based, first is homopolymer. So they are derived from the single species of monomer, and they are having a cross-linked structure and used in drug delivery system and in contact lenses. For an example, on the right hand side, we have an example of homopolymers like polyethylene glycol and polyvinyl chloride. Next is copolymeric hydrogels. So they are composed of two types of monomers, in which one is hydrophilic in nature. They are also being the cross-linked structure and assembled in random block or alternate configuration. For example, poly 4 vinyl pyridine co-butyl methacrylate is an example of copolymeric hydrogel. Next is multipolymeric. So they are categorized into two forms, that is semi-IPNs and IPNs. So semi-IPNs are formed by the polymeric network, cross-linked polymeric network, and a linear polymer, or IPNs. They are formed by the combination of cross-linking of two polymeric networks. So advantage of these semi-IPNs is that they are having modified pore size and slow drug release is there. But in case of IPNs, they are forming the dense hydrogel and efficient drug loading is there. Next is the classification based on the origin of the hydrogel. So hydrogel formed by either by synthetic polymers or by natural polymers. So synthetic polymers, namely polyvinyl alcohol, poly and vinyl 2-pyrrolidone, and polyethylene glycol, and also polyhydroxymethyl methacrylate derivative. All these three, they are moderately swollen hydrogels, but they are highly swollen hydrogels. So disadvantage of using this synthetic polymer is that they are having low biodegradability and also they form the toxic byproduct. Thereafter, we have natural polymers like protein and polysaccharides. So proteins includes like collagen, gelatin, etc., and polysaccharides having this chitosan, dextrin, hyaluronic acid. And the sources of these natural polymers is plants, animals, marine sources. The advantage of using this natural polymer is that they are biodegradable in nature and readily available, and also they are non-toxic, biocompatible, and they are excellent for biomedical applications. So people are more emphasizing on the natural polymer due to their all these advantages. So polysaccharide-based hydrogels, as we have already discussed, that they are non-toxic, safe, biocompatible. So and also they are columnar specific. And polysaccharide-based hydrogel, they enhances intestinal absorption of insulin and increases the relative pharmacological bioavailability of insulin. So psyllium, we will talk about the psyllium. Psyllium is a medicinally important natural polysaccharide, and it is a hydrogel developed from it will have all these properties. So psyllium is derived from the dried ripe seed of Plantago psyllium, and it is a white fibrous hydrophilic material which forms the colorless mucilage gel by absorbing the water. Chemically, it is composed of hemicellulose, which consists of xylene backbone linked with arabinose, anaminose, and glutamic acids and units collectively known as ariboxylans. Ariboxylans have beta 1,4 linked xylopyranose units joined in linear fashion and side branches of alpha arabinofuranose residues, and furanose conformations of side branches are the sites of water absorption due to their flexible nature. So the psyllium therapeutic agents, they are used in cholesterol lowering, constipation, diarrhea, irritable bowel syndrome, ulcerative colitis, also colon cancer, and in diabetes. The methods of next is the methods of preparation of hydrogel. So hydrogels are prepared by the three integral parts. They are having three integral parts: monomer, initiator, and crosslinker. So this is the resulting hydrogel, which is formed by monomer, crosslinker, and initiator. And this is the unreacted monomer, sorry, unreacted initiator, unreacted crosslinker, and unreacted monomer. So next is the polymerization technique. So various polymerization techniques are used for the hydrogel formation: bulk polymerization, solution polymerization. Bulk polymerization, we have a monomer and monomer soluble initiator. They are polymerized to form the hydrogel. And in solution polymerization, water ethanol and water ethanol benzyl alcohol is used, and ionic or neutral monomer, they are mixed with initiator and radical initiator system in the presence of UV radiation or thermal initiation, and they result into the formation of hydrogels. Next is suspension polymerization. So in suspension polymerization, organic phase is used, and water soluble monomers are mixed with the initiator and the resulting is a polymer solution. So next is grafting. So grafting is done by the two methods, either by the chemical reagent or by the radiation. So chemical reagent like starch grafted with acrylic acid using N-vinyl 2-pyrrolidone, and the gamma rays electron beam in the radiation grafting of CMC with acrylic acid in the presence of electron beam. So advantage of using this grafting is that it leads to branching, cross-linking, and improves the mechanical property. So next is polymerization by irradiation. So gamma rays or electron beams are used for this, and they are disadvantages for these polysaccharides, because polysaccharide degrades into the presence of these gamma rays. Next is the characterization. So we have a same image of the psyllium as well as the psyllium cross-linked this polyacrylic acid. So we can see here the psyllium has a homogeneous surface, whereas the heterogeneity and the porous structure region for the water permeation and interaction site for external stimuli with hydrophilic functional groups of polymers are seen in this cross-linked polymer. So next is X-ray diffraction techniques are also used to study whether the crystalline structure get deformed during the pressurization process. FTIR study is also used to determine the morphology of hydrogel or the changes in area absorption spectra due to the stretching of gauge vibration. Formation of coils or helix, which is indicative of cross-linking, is evident by appearance of band near 1648 centimeter inverse. Next is FTIR spectra. So this is the FTIR of psyllium hydrogel. So we have a peaks around 3780.9 and 3427, which is indicating the OH stretching of carbohydrates, and also the peaks around 2925.8 centimeter inverse, indicating the CH2 asymmetric stretching, and other peaks are here for psyllium. Besides this, we have a psyllium cross-linked polyacrylic acid. So they showed a peak at 2855.9 centimeter inverse for OH stretching of carboxylic acid. So the peak for this cross-linked is 2855.9, and also for this stretching 2362.0 centimeter inverse overtones and combination of OH in planes bending and CO stretching vibration. So next is the properties. So properties, first property is the swelling property. So types, swelling property depends upon the three factors: types and composition of monomer, environmental factor like temperature, pH, ionic strength, and third is the cross-linking, that determines the mechanical strength and permeability. So is the formula to calculate the percentage swelling. So it is calculated by the measuring the weight of swollen hydrogel and weight of dried hydrogel. Mechanical properties, they are important for the pharmaceutical applications for maintaining the, because for example, the property of maintaining the property of maintaining the hydrogel physical texture during the drug delivery, and also it's achieved by changing the degree of cross-linking. Higher degree of cross-linking, more brittle structure is there, and for optimum degree of cross-linking, we have strong and elastic hydrogel. So biocompatible properties. So hydrogel should be biocompatible and non-toxic, and the cytotoxicity test is used to evaluate the toxicity of hydrogel. So they have a various advantages. Hydrogels, they can be injected, and they are biocompatible, less toxic. They are having higher degree of flexibility, very similar to natural tissues, and they are responsive to various stimuli like pressure, magnetic field, electric field, pH, temperature, etc. So this is a drug-loaded unswollen hydrogel. So after swelling, it releases the drug. So they are environmentally sensitive hydrogel. So disadvantage of using hydrogel is that they use in contact lenses and cause the deposition. Handling and loading problem is there. They're extremely and low mechanical strength, and also non-adherent by secured by the secondary dressing. Surgical risks are also associated with the device implantation and retrieval. Applications of hydrogel. Hydrogel provide active transport for the gas, waste product, nutrients, drugs, and biomolecules. They provide framework for the cell addition, proliferation, and biodegradable and biocompatible. Applications of hydrogel includes two parts. Industrial application is there, and a pharmaceutical application is there. Used in controlled drug delivery, wound dressing, and in industrial, they are used in tissue engineering, and also for the removal of heavy metal ion or dye degradation. So common uses they are used as biosensor for specific molecules such as glucose, antigens, used in disposable diapers where they absorb water, urine, also used as medical electrode in ECG, used as breast implants. Future perspective is there. So non-degradability of this synthetic polymer have raised this serious environmental issues. Polysaccharide-based hydrogels, they are renewable, non-toxic, biocompatible, biodegradable, and due to the presence of plentiful hydrophilic functional groups in the backbone of cellulose, they are used for the formation of hydrogel. So through the selection of specific methods and we can obtain the properties, mechanical performance, self-healing properties can also be obtained, and also the biosafety of drug delivery system based hydrogels. So more attention should be paid on the development of green synthesis method by using green solvent or non-toxic cross-linkers. And in agriculture also, more chances of cellulose hydrogels to realize the controlled release of chemical fertilizer and reduce the uses of fertilizer. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Robert Kandal, for your presentation.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. I want to ask you, the right of extraction of psyllium, it's important or not?
Yes, sir.
The quantity of extraction of your psyllium, it's very important. It's important or not? For your polysaccharide,
sorry,
polysaccharide, the quantity of obtained on polysaccharide when extraction in the plant.
Okay. Yeah. So, this psyllium is obtained from this dried ripe seeds of Plantago psyllium, which is a white fibrous hydrophilic material, and forms a colorless mucilage gel by absorbing the water.
Okay, thank you. Assistants, please, you have any questions? Dr. Makhloufi, you have any questions?
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Dr. Rohit. I'm wondering how hydrogel will be administered to reach the colon.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Can you repeat your question, ma'am?
How hydrogel will be administered to reach the colon?
To reach the column.
To reach the colon.
Yeah, sorry, ma'am. Actually, ma'am, I'm not getting your question properly. To reach the column.
To reach the site of action.
Okay. So the hydrogel, they are basically used as a there are various methods by which hydrogels are used. So there are different site of administration. So hydrogels, since we are using, we are emphasizing on the hydrogel based on the natural polymers. So the natural polymer based hydrogel, they are less toxic, and we are using it in different parts, like they are also injected, and they are also used in contact lenses, and also they are used as a drug delivery system, like in case of the insulin. So the psyllium based hydrogel, we are used for the in the diabetic patients, where insulin is diagnosed, insulin is given to the patient in case of diabetes. So psyllium based hydrogels are more useful there.
Okay, so it will be injected, locally injected.
Injected also. In case of insulin, they are injected.
Okay. I have another question.
Yes.
Okay. Yes.
How can you study the mechanical properties of hydrogels?
Okay. So mechanical properties like so the mechanical properties like this cross-linking, they are as physical texture. They are studied by using this by doing this the characterization methods like X-rays and SEM.
Okay.
So there we are measuring the degree of cross-linking. So if the degree of cross-linking is higher degree of cross-linking is there, so it will be going to form a more brittle structure. And if there is a optimum degree of cross-linking for a particular hydrogel, it will be a strong and elastic gel.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Makhloufi. I will follow with the last communication presented by